Great, thanks. And I think it's so valuable that we can provide those key considerations and prerequisites, and for how complex replicator is, those aren't that many hurdles to overcome. It just, coming from my consultant background, it's SharePoint that we have to worry about and be aware of all of the customizations and different areas that have been configured that might not be standard, that you'll have to work through when you install and start working with Replicator. But we've been around for plenty of time and gone through a lot of different installations and setups with SharePoint. So I have confidence that it can be worked through when you take those things you discussed, Pat, into mind while working with Replicator. And speaking of that, so you'll see a trend not just through these classes, but actually through the user interface, through the PowerShell, that there are three main stages that we focus on with the system management lifecycle of Replicator. The main one obviously being installation. And here, you do spend some time because you're going to architect how you want your map and connections to be. Again, we're going to start with a simple business scenario of intranet, extranet so that you can see that, and then we'll discuss the more complex setup in the future that we have commercial and military customers who are installing on multiple farms, taking down and putting up farms. So that's why this is an important thing to highlight compared to other products where you're really only focusing on installation once, and it's just the simple act of making sure the accounts and services are running. Here, there's that third step, which is configuration. All of this, Pat, will go into a little more detail here. Then, of course, the detailed configuration of, as we heard from the key terms, setting up those connections, understanding what we're building, and then, of course, on the day-to-day basis, after it's running, managing Replicator and looking at what is monitoring, looking at the health, and you'll see that we have some key performance indicators, and we have some methods that if you do have multiple farms, that you will, those KPIs will roll up into the central administrator farm, and you'll be able to be notified if those KPIs are going to yellow or red. And, I say that with confidence because sometimes the red is the CPU usage is down. Pat referenced the C drive and storage. So those are things that we're going to look at for you to make sure that your whole Replicator environment is healthy. So that's the basic introduction, and for the next 20 minutes or so, what's going to happen is Pat will cover some of the highlights of each step and then show you a demonstration of the different scenarios. And then remember, day 2, we'll go deep into the installation and configuration. Day 3, we will talk about monitoring and managing. And then day 4, we'll sort of jump back and cover the bases, but with advanced scenarios. So Pat, my time was quick. Give us the details on these different sections.